my name is Loyd, and today we're going to be talking about communication through writing. Here's a quick view of our agenda and the topics we're going to cover today. Really, it's going to be a breakdown of our main topic of how communication affects or would affect writing as a career. Before I get deep into this, I would like to say for me personally, writing is a career that I chose um, mainly because of how I want to leave my mark on the world, for lack of a better word. Um, I wanted to be a writer for as long as I can remember, really, and then I switched to professor, and then I was like, oh, you could be both. Being a writer is luckily one of those careers, but it is a little bit more flexible if you're a smaller writer, I should say. For some people, when it becomes a main career, it is bigger. But that is the reason that I chose specifically writing, and thus being an English major. Um, when we talk about the power of communication for writing, communication is a pretty foundational necessity for many writers. Writing in itself is a form of communicating, and having people read your work is another form of that, or I guess the receptive end of this. Um, Communication influences not only the writing process, but also, like I said, the reception of the written work. So when it comes to the importance or power of the communication for writers, writers need to convey their thoughts in a way that's easily understood by their readers. That involves clear language, avoiding jargon unless it's like completely necessary, such as technical writing, and also structuring sentences logically. In our actual textbook that we've looked at a lot, the More Than Words, a introduction to communication, they even mention the key to a successful writing skill for communication is the appropriateness of what and how you write for the context and the audience. So the foundation that you lay with your writing, that's the important part. You're setting your tone, you're creating your relationship with your reader. But why does that matter for writers? When it comes to having our readers taking our work, the important part of this is going to be making sure that we're communicating effectively through that precise language, through elevating our language, um, and thus creating an audience and being able to build up from that is the important part. Engaging with the audience. Successful writers conduct research to understand their audience's demographics, preferences, and their expectations. I found that that's more common than not nowadays. People even I've seen take polls on social media to determine what area their audience is in. This knowledge helps inform them of the tone and style and the context choices that they should continue to trend into. Also, in our textbook, they mentioned that the style of writing, the choice of vocabulary, the length of sentences, the tone of language that we adopt, all of that reflects the relationship you want to create with your reader or readers. Which is completely true. You're setting up you as a writer are setting up your work to be intercepted and engaged with by a reader. Making relatable content is something that people do. Having specifically, like I said before, YA authors would have more of a slice of life or transitional language to them, where we're looking at the growth of these young teens into early adulthood and so on and so forth. How else would we engage with communication? Through collaboration and feedback. We collaborate by networking, speaking with other authors, speaking with publishers, speaking with um, editors, and through that we have the one form, I guess, outside of writing. Our communication would be verbal. We would have engagements through email every once in a while, but overall we create this web of interaction through our collaboration and through asking for feedback. In conclusion, um, when it comes to communication and writing, they are hand in hand, as writing is a form of communication. They are, uh, I hate to be cliche, but almost two sides of the same coin in that aspect. Many people who don't speak verbally communicate through written communication with people who say don't understand sign language, or um, maybe they never learned to sign. There are plenty of ways that we communicate with written word more often than not. But thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you may be. And thank you for listening. You have a great day. Hi, my name is Bernija Loyd, and today we're going to be talking about a communication through writing, specifically communicating while being a writer. Here's our quick overview. We're going to be talking about um, a quick overview of what this presentation's main focus is, our introduction, and then we're going to get into a dissection of that, the importance of communication for writers in the form of clarity and precision, audience engagement, and collaboration and feedback. We'll move on to our conclusion, and I will show you the reference. So this main slide is about the power of communication for writers, but before we get into that, I'm just going to give a brief introduction into what uh, the career writing and communication look like when they go hand in hand. Um, so effective communication is pretty much a foundational necessity for writers, as it helps convey ideas clearly and persuasively to the reader or readers. Um, Communication influences not only the writing process for a lot of writers, but also the reception of the written work by setting tone, by delivering what kind of message you want to your reader. All of this is just a nonverbal version of communication. Um, the importance or power of communication in writing. Writers need to convey their thoughts in a way that is easily understood by a wide variety of people. A lot of people go for fitting their vernacular to the text. A lot of people write as if they're reading or saying what they're writing out loud in order to reach their niche audience. That involves using things like clear language, avoiding jargon, unless it's like a technical writing or something of the sort, and structuring sentences logically. When we talk about the structure of sentences, when we talk about using specific vernacular or jargon, we want to talk about who our audience is. Because, like I mentioned, if you're a technical writer, like you're writing for a textbook or a medical journal, your vernacular is going to be completely different from somebody who, say, is a YA author, someone who's writing specifically young adult books, or even somebody who is a young adult book writer is going to be crazy different from somebody who's writing for a preschooler. You have to think about the age of your audience, the really, I mean, the age, the trends of your audience, uh, just what your specific individual group of people will look like when they intake this information. And we do that through communicating. According to um, pause, 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 pause. Okay, continue. Pause. One, two, three. In the text, an introduction